In the toil of thinking, in the serenity of books, in the messages of prophets, the songs of poets, and the wisdom of interpreters, in discoveries of continents of truth, whose margins we may see, we delight in free minds and in their thinking. In the majesty of the moral order, in the faith that right will triumph, in the courage given us when we ally ourselves to truth in any form, in the privilege of being co-workers in good causes, we celebrate the unseen goals we share and serve. Let us build a world safe from war and oppression, free and satisfying, one that ultimately furnishes answers for us all. Please be seated.
Graduates, friends, and family, good afternoon and welcome. I'm Kira Scarabaghi, the Dean of the Faculty of Community Services. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the land that we're celebrating on today. Toronto is in the dish with one spoon territory treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. Today, June 21st, is National Indigenous Peoples Day. This is a day for all Canadians to recognize and celebrate the unique heritage, diverse cultures, outstanding contributions of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, which makes acknowledging the land we are celebrating on especially important, and I ask that you reflect on this not only today, but as you go forward in your daily lives. I now welcome to the podium Joanne Dallaire, the university's elder and senior advisor, Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation.
Well, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. It's been several years since I've stood at this podium and had the opportunity to wish you all well. So this is a special day, as it's already been said about this being First Nations Day, Indigenous Day. And it's also the solstice. So in honor of both of those things, I'm going to sing a cappella a little song called Cherokee Morning Song. And the teaching behind this song is that when you hear it, it is a reminder that every day is a new day, that you can only learn from tomorrow, and no need to worry. Only learn from yesterday, and no need to worry about tomorrow. Today is where your power lies. So I hope my voice is as good as I think it is. Hold on. Hey, quando day, hey, quando day. That's not the song. What? Thank you very much. Thank you. That song has been roaming around in my head, and I kept trying to push it out, and it didn't work. Here we go. Erase that. And start over. Winday-a-ho, winday-a-ho, winday-a, winday-a, ho, 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 hey-a-ho, hey-a-ho, ya, ya, ya. Winday-a-ho, winday-a-ho, a winday-a, a winday-a, ho, 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 hey-a-ho, hey-a-ho, ya, ya, ya. Winday-a-ho, winday-a-ho, a winday-a, ho, 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 hey, ho, hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. Winday, ya, ho, winday, ya, ho. A winday, ya, a winday, ya. Ho, 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 hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. Ya, ya, ya. Whew, my lungs went out of air. Thank you. And that's one of the important things to remind yourself in life, that nothing is meant to be perfect. We are going to have mistries. I don't like the word mistake. It wasn't one of our traditional languages. When you try something and it doesn't work, you try again. And you gather information from what didn't work and what did work, and you move forward. I would like to offer a prayer. And this prayer speaks to the Indigenous approach to our world and to the universe around us and our responsibility. This will also resonate with a lot of other cultures in this room in that perspective. All of us lived in an Indigenous way around the world at one time. I encourage you to talk to your ancestors, your grandparents, and question them about your stories, about your ceremonies. I'm going to announce in my ancestral name, which is Cree, that my spirit name is Shadowhawk Woman. I'm from the Wolf Clan. My ancestry hails from Attawapiskat, which is Omashkigo, and then the rest of it you'll understand, it'll be English. Wache, Ani, Sego, Nit, Kwe, Tenze, Marcy, hello. Adishna Hasan, Sahakutam, Dekashasha Nishku, Mahigando Dam, Omashkigo. First, let me take the opportunity to invite any ancestors or spirit helpers who'd like to come and celebrate with us today. I ask that you watch over each of us, our families, and our loved ones. I also take this opportunity to ask that you continue to watch over our brothers and sisters who are on our streets, in our jails, our institutions, hospitals, seniors' homes, shelters, and treatment centers. And a special shout out for anyone who's going through health concerns or those in the grieving process of some loved family member who has passed. I also ask at this time that we give thanks to any plant and animal life that have given of themselves today so that we can move forward. And we thank all those people who work so hard behind the scenes to get our food ready for us, from the farmers to the butchers to the producers to our cooks. We thank them. Let us give thanks to Mother Earth and for all that she provides for us, as we beg for her forgiveness for how we treat her and pray for the healing of her waters. Let us give thanks to Father Sky for watching over us and tending to the star people while reminding us of the many things we must tend to in a day. To Grandfather Sun, who gives us the energy of life while reminding us that something that is good for us, too much of it can be harmful. And to Grandmother Moon, when she is full, lights our way in the darkness. And when she is in new moon, she reminds us that even in the darkness, the light is still there. We just have to look for it. She also reminds us of the many phases we will go through in a month. I ask that each and every person who is here today receive something that makes them proud of who they are, proud of knowing that each step they take makes a difference in this world. And I say, Chimigwech, 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 Chimigwech. Aho, all my relations. Hi, hi. I'm very honored to be here because we have an ondoc, an Indigenous ondoc. Gachi. I'm not even going to try her last name because I will massacre it. So forgive me. Very proud that she is here today, and you'll hear much more about her accomplishments and her walk in life. And one of the things as you go through, those of you in community service, you're into this because you want to make a difference in the world. And I want you to understand that each and everything that you do is a seed planting opportunity. Lots of the work that you will do, you will not see whether or not it makes a difference. Just be the best seed planter you can be. Be yourself. That is where you will find your happiness. Stay close to your family. Stay close to your friends. And have an excellent day of celebration. I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Joanne. Class of 2022, it is so wonderful to be able to celebrate your academic achievements in person. I want to welcome all of you, the graduates, the families, the friends, the colleagues, and distinguished guests to this wonderful moment, a moment that captures enormous achievement and that sets the stage for exciting futures. Today, we have all come together to celebrate this moment. In so doing, we acknowledge the hard work that went into getting here. Every graduate earned their place amongst those we rely on for creating good, just, and caring communities and societies. We acknowledge and give thanks to those who supported our graduates. Families, old friends and new friends, teachers and mentors. And we celebrate the new connections and relationships that formed during your time with us, right here at Toronto Metropolitan University. This moment is about joy, excitement, laughter, perhaps a little relief too. We don't always know what comes next, but I'm confident that with the degree you earned, the connections you made, and the confidence you have gained, you'll be ready to go out into the world and contribute to making it better for everyone. Congratulations, everyone. I am proud to share this moment with you. To begin this very special day, I introduce you to the Chancellor of Toronto Metropolitan University, Janice Fukakusa.
Graduands, I am very proud and honored to be speaking to you today. It's a time of well-deserved celebration for you and all of us, and we share our pride in your success with everyone whose love and support that is here and that has played a part in bringing you to where you are today. Now, normally at this stage of my remarks, I actually will share a few pieces of advice with the graduating class. But after 2 years of pandemic, however, I think that it's you, the graduands, that should be sharing that advice with us. Graduands, you went through a remarkable experience. You endured and came through it, achieving your ultimate objective. You succeeded by facing and overcoming unforeseen barriers. And I hope you share your experience with others and be proud of what you have achieved. In fact, be proud of the impact that you will have for every month and for the years to come. And take time to reflect on your achievements. It builds the confidence that is essential to overcome the inevitable challenges in the years ahead. And when you look back at your university experience, I encourage you to remember what you learned about yourself. That resilience gives you the means to learn from your experiences, and determination will keep you focused on your dreams. After all, you've already all proven that you have the talent and drive to succeed. On this special day of celebration, let me close by offering my congratulations and all the best for your journey ahead. Thank you.
Now please welcome the university's President and Vice Chancellor, Mohamed Lashemi.
Thank you, Dean. Welcome to our graduates, family and friends, colleagues from the university community and beyond. Class of 2022, this is an important day for you, and you have our warmest congratulations. You graduate at a milestone moment in history. Despite the challenges brought on by the pandemic, you remained committed to your studies, kept connected with your classes, and served your community in more ways than I can mention here. A milestone also because your graduating year will be forever linked to our historic name change. What has not changed from the day you choose to study here to the moment you cross the stage to accept your award are the values that define our university. And when you return as alumni, you will feel right at home. Class of 2022, the first graduating class of Toronto Metropolitan University, you helped shape this place. Now, both you and the university look ahead to a new chapter and bright future. A future of promise and optimism, better prepared than ever to meet the challenges and opportunities ahead. This is your time. You have everything that the world is looking for: talent, energy, and new ideas. Your years here have prepared you for this moment. We are so glad that you chose this university, that you immerse yourself in our university community. I hope you are feeling grateful for each other, for the good friends who shared your university experience and are now friends for life. Which brings us full circle. While we may find success as individuals, as a society, we depend on each other. We need loved ones, and you have many of them with you today. We need colleagues and community. In French, you know, we never say goodbye. Instead, we say au revoir, which literally means until we see you again. Enjoy your very special day and stay close to your alma mater, for together we will shape the future. Thank you very much, and invite you now to please enjoy this short video. Thank you.
Today marks a momentous moment in the story of your life. Just a few years ago, you began a new chapter. For some, that meant moving to a new city. For many, that meant discovering new perspectives. And for all, that meant opening your mind to new possibilities. Along the way, you were met with challenges unfamiliar to those who came before you and to those who follow. You embraced the responsibility of learning and unlearning, inspired by the people and places that played a part. Together, we evolved. While this chapter comes to a close, your story continues. Tomorrow, you'll remember this moment, not for who you were, but for who you have become. Today, we'll celebrate the diversity of your experience, your commitment to shaping a better future, and your part in our story. As the first graduating class of Toronto Metropolitan University.
I now welcome to the podium Shirley Bourgeois, lecturer and Indigenous advisor in the midwifery program, to introduce today's honorary degree recipient.
Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashmi, Provost Simpson, deans, esteemed colleagues, and representatives who join us on stage, members of the graduating class, family members and friends, honored guests. It is my deep privilege to deliver the citation for De Gudji Jakwa, Gudji Cook, upon whom Toronto Metropolitan University is conferring the degree Doctors of Laws, honoris causa, our highest award. In the field of women's health, Gudji has devoted her life to reclaiming Indigenous reproduction by restoring the practice of midwifery to Indigenous communities. In the process, she has become an internationally recognized community leader working at the intersection of environmental and reproductive justice. Gudji is a member of the Wolf Clan of the Mohawk Nation, born on the St. Regis Reservation in northern New York State. She was delivered by her paternal grandmother, who was also a midwife. Gudji says she cannot remember a time, any time in her life, when she did not want to be a midwife, and in 1977, she took up that practice. It was following the Loon Lake Conference of Six Nations, where control of reproduction was designated as a prerequisite to Native American sovereignty. After training at the University of New Mexico, she began to practice midwifery at Akwesasne. It was there in 1984 that Gudji started the Mother's Milk Monitoring Project. This was in response to concerns about the safety of breastfeeding in the context of environmental pollution that disproportionately affects Indigenous people. The project monitors PCB levels in breast milk and addresses the environmental impact of the St. Lawrence Seaway project. In this province, Gudji plays an instrumental role in restoring Indigenous midwifery and inspiring Indigenous people to take on the responsibility of being a midwife in their community. She was a prominent member of the Interim Regulatory Council of Midwives that worked to regulate midwifery in Ontario. And it was Gudji who operationalized the exemption for Aboriginal midwives under the Ontario Midwifery Act. The exemption has been critical to restoring birth sovereignty to Indigenous communities throughout the province. Gudji continues to inspire midwives, birth workers, and activists across Turtle Island and far beyond who seek to stand strong, restore, and live our Indigenous knowledge and rights. In 2017, she was named a recipient of the Inspire Award, an Indigenous-led Canadian charitable organization that supports the education of Indigenous people. Gudji Cook, for your instrumental work improving women's health and restoring Indigenous knowledge, and for being an influential voice for community-driven environmental and reproductive justice, we celebrate and honor you today. I would now like to call on Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashmi, and Gudji Cook to the podium for the conferring of the degree.
Toronto Metropolitan University, by virtue of the authority granted by the Province of Ontario under the University Act, has awarded the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa with all the rights and privileges attended thereon to Te Gudji Jakwa Gudji Cook.
Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashemi, Provost Simpson, deans, esteemed colleagues and representatives who join us on stage, members of the graduating class, your families, friends, and honored guests. It's my pleasure to speak to you today. Sego sewa gwego, te guanalukwa, te kachichakwa ni iyungyat. Wakatahuni from the Mohawk Nation of Akwesasne, one of the many Mohawk communities located in Ontario. I am the 7th generation from both my maternal and paternal ancestors, as documented in my family genealogy. It's important that as we do land acknowledgements, that we also acknowledge the ancestors who Joanne has traditionally called into this space where we sit. We should also consider the biosphere acknowledgement of this beautiful Ganyatanowanane, the St. Lawrence River, whose headwaters come from the Lake Superior down out past Toronto, moving through the currents of our lives out to the St. Lawrence estuary and into the great waters of the Atlantic Ocean. My ancestor and paternal grandfather, Louis Adyatun Harungwa Cook, whose name I carry in my public work, was the son of an African man and an Odanak Abenaki mother. He and his mother were taken in a raid by the French, Kahnawake Mohawks, and Odanak Abenaki in a raid on the General Philip Schuyler plantation just before the Battle of Saratoga. The young Colonel Louis and his mother were rescued by Kahnawake warriors and brought to Kahnawake. At the age of 7, Colonel Louis became an adopted Mohawk. Colonel Louis was at almost every event in the pre-French 7 Years' War, was personally recruited by George Washington, who had heard of his military success in organizing First Nations allies to fight the battle at the Plains of Abraham in Quebec City. He is also a renowned warrior in the War of 1812, when he died in 1814. My Grandpa Louis left behind a historical record that he was simply one of the best, greatest native warriors that ever lived. The matriline of my mother, Evelyn Gawanayo Montour, extends from her home of Kahnawake, Quebec, to the Mohawks of the Six Nations, Ontario. Her matriline distinguished themselves as the first educators and doctors in their communities. Like most of First Nations in North America, the Mohawk people are matriarchal in ancestral consciousness, following a tradition of mother law, Gahnistasala, the law of mitochondrial DNA through which genomes are tracked. We're matrifocal in cultural meaning, matrilineal in social power through the clan and kinship systems that we still survive in our communities and are the strength of our people. And so in the Mohawk Nation at Akwesasne, leader women, the Ganungwe, speak of mother law, a woman's law of leadership as the head of clan families. One Mohawk word for midwife is Yewirlogwas. The word means she's pulling the baby out of the water, out of the earth, or a dark, wet place. Such an ecostemic view deepens our understanding that the earth, waters, and bodies of our life-giving water carriers are one body in the rich imagery and symbol of this linguistic expression. What an honor to stand here today in gratitude and appreciation to the midwifery education program of Toronto Metropolitan University and the leadership and midwives of the National Aboriginal Council of Midwives. I'm happiest to see dear friends seated here with whom I attended the January 1993 class of the Michener Institute pre-registration midwifery program. The purpose was to ensure that members of this emergent profession of midwifery, established with the proclamation of the Regulated Health Professions Act and the Midwifery Act of 1991, to govern midwifery would be qualified, skilled, and competent in the field in which they practice. I was elected class representative for our winter cohort of 25 incredibly diverse midwives, ranging from Mennonite midwives to fishnet-stockinged younger midwives, who are all amazing individuals. My role was to represent the concerns of my classmates to our midwifery faculty, who were imported from Sweden, New Zealand, and Holland. While we all passed our exams and physical assessment skills, I decided to continue under the exemption in the law for Aboriginal midwives and healers from any regulation by the government, knowing that if we don't use our rights, we lose our rights. And so I've had the privilege over the many years to work with the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care, with the Indigenous Justice Division under the leadership of then Senator Justice Murray Sinclair, deeply diving into the work of truth and reconciliation. At the Indigenous Justice Division, I met Howard Sapers of the Ministry of Corrections and Community Safety. And the work that all of you, with your fresh young faces and newly minted diploma, you who are the 7th generation of your own lineages, I wish for you every good thing. I wish for you that you'll learn true self-care so that you can care for others. And in closing, I want to share with you a sacred song from the Morning Star that's sung every morning on the last 4 days in the Black Hills of South Dakota. My family has been dancing the iconic Sundance, one of the many blessed ceremonies that was outlawed in the Canadian society for over 60 years. We are renewing ourselves in front of our sacred fireplaces that we consider to be our universities, and with our songs and our Indigenous knowledge. And so I ask you to enjoy this moment, to close your eyes, to find a way to be comfortable in the seat where you sit. The words of this song simply mean a vision of the morning star standing. All over the world, the morning is standing. Hold this moment close. Look at it. The morning is standing. And so at this threshold of a new beginning in your lives, I share this blessing that comes from my Sundance family, the American Horse Afraid of Bear people. Apoi nashiki wayaki ayoyo he wama kashka sitomnia unauya geyozelo he apoi nashiki wayaki ayoyo he ji sa del yondole ji nio. Nyawa kala kochi sanolunkwane ongwe hue. Thank you, Mother Earth. You know the way. You show us the way. Thank you, Grandfather Sun. You love the people. Daneto. Thank you.
Thank you for your inspiring words and song, Dr. Cook. And now an honor song by Marie and Emily Goudet.
Ani Bosho Minadora Makwena Dishakas Mishika Dodem. And that's going to be a tough act to follow, that beautiful song. I had the privilege of meeting Gachi about 20 years ago in ceremony, and she also was an influence to a midwife that delivered my children by the name of Carol Pucci. So, I brought Emily to help me.
Thank you, Marie and Emily. As our graduates prepare to come forward, I will take this opportunity to request that you hold your applause until all graduates have crossed the stage. We do, however, welcome spontaneous outbursts of joy, enthusiasm, and even relief from family and friends. That's all part of the celebration. And so, all graduates are celebrated equally, and this is by far the most important thing I'm going to say today. And so all graduates are celebrated equally. We ask that everyone please remain for the duration of the ceremony. I now ask to come forward and thank in advance Vice Provost, students Jen McMillan.
Will the graduands please rise as you are able? Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashmi, Provost Simpson, honored guests, faculty members, staff, family, and friends of the graduands, I have the honor and pleasure to present graduands from Toronto Metropolitan University's Faculty of Community Services degree programs. Our graduands include all those who are joining us for today's ceremony, as well as those unable to attend who are graduating in absentia. I certify that each has met the academic requirements for the awards they are about to receive, and that each has been duly approved by the university's Senate. Congratulations to each of you. Please be seated.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present candidates for the undergraduate degrees in the Faculty of Community Services. Bachelor of Arts, Child and Youth Care. Ashabella Ubokar. Mavish Ahmad. Warda Ahmed. Malali Akbari. Jalil Alfred. Edessa Andranada. Janice Apia with distinction. Petra Bagarich with distinction. Sarah Baker with distinction. Joelle Bakilo. Hannah Beach. Taryn Belair. Rosalie Bim with distinction. Krista Bucci. Ashana Berger. Adam Keenan Calpito. Helena Carter Huffman with distinction. Monica Chander with distinction. Rebecca Chandler with distinction. Aisha Chugtai. Abigail Clark with distinction. Alicia Crete with distinction. Jackie Dow with distinction. Catherine Dean. Ariana de Berardinas with distinction. Alessia Del Medico with distinction. Nadine Diaz with distinction. Janine Joyce Dioniccio. Narissa Dogino with distinction. Danelle Fagan. Nicole Favreau. Samantha Ferreira with distinction. Rowan Goldman with distinction. Ravital Gershumov with distinction. Mariam Hanif with distinction. Riley Harold with distinction. Jocelyn Hashimoto. Nicole Ann Hendo. Alexandria Hussein with distinction. Narissa Innes Boston with distinction. Tanya Riley Ishii with distinction. Elena Cardell Joshua with distinction. Izara Josin. Amelie Kalenus. Mary Komorlafi with distinction. Madison Corey. Priya Kumar. Valentina Laketa. Celine Lamb with distinction. Julia Leonetti with distinction. Lucas Levely with distinction. Leah Levine with distinction. Wendy Liu with distinction. Dustin Lowe. Natasha Logan. Mary Stephanie Lominkit with distinction. Jia Liu. Humaira Malam with distinction. Veronica Malo. Malini Mangru. Brittany Main. Kiana McLean Conley. Caroline Meek with distinction. Sevon Minasvan. Tashika Mitchell with distinction. Megan Molina. Crystal Munasar. Tatiana Merkel. Tanya Nguyen. Brianna Nargis Banfield with distinction. Isabella Pasito. Jessica Pelly with distinction. Sarah Pepin with distinction. Sadie Fonpasith with distinction. Flavia Alessia Preci. Lydia Prokofsky with distinction. Arushia Kuvendrakumarathan with distinction. Wafa Rajan. Callum Reed with distinction. Latifa Roach. Caitlin Robitaille with distinction. Victoria Roca. Chloe Routledge. Sahar Samir. Sandia Santabavan. Babita Selvaraja. Zainab Sheikh Omar. Carrie Sicharan. Ashley Simpson. Tasia Simpson. Kavita Sinatambi. Sindhu Sivakumar. Ashley Smith with distinction. Joseph Staletti. Kathy Staniszewski, with distinction. Brittany St. Marie, with distinction. Caitlin Stewart, with distinction. Cassandra Sabrian, with distinction. Zayun Sun. Parker Terryberry, with distinction. Tusia Davanayagam. Thomas Theophanithis. Cassandra Teagsay. Sabrina Toe. Vanessa Torres, with distinction. Zoe Verhagen. Tharani Vathanayagan. McQuaid Waldy. Ashley Wall, with distinction. Michaela Warren. Catherine Wayrich. Kaylee Wong Shu. Harim Zanor. Bachelor of Arts, Disability Studies. Asma Abdul Qadir, with distinction. Sunita A, with distinction. Regina Burko. Abigail Bermudez, with distinction. Lindsay Bryson. Amanda Chalmers, with distinction. Melissa Falis, with distinction. Marie Francis, with distinction. Shalafe Gale. Tiffany Kopeshny. Sarah Minifee, with distinction. Angela Mota, with distinction. Olabisi Ojewole. Carissa Porter. Sabrina Rai. Sarah Santry. Lauren Shaw, with distinction. Megan Sugat, with distinction. Bachelor of Arts, Early Childhood Studies. Bisma Afzal. Rimsha Ahmad, with distinction. Grace Alexander, with distinction. Darafshan Ali. Mastora Ameri. Nawal Arbab. Haley Arsenault. Adriana Bath. Lauren Bird, with distinction. Annette Borisma Tapia. Athena Bozios. Natalie Bahajar, with distinction. Ricarla Burke. Maureen Cabrera. Julianne Castanos. Anjali Chaudhary. Songzin Celia Chen. Nicole Chung, with distinction. Tiffany Colasso, with distinction. Julia Consolo, with distinction. Susan Doss. Sophia Isabel de Leon. Amara Digout, with distinction. Francesca Di Salvo, with distinction. Layla Farhadian, with distinction. Mia Farrell. Kayla Fong, with distinction. Nakita Francis, with distinction. Lily Fu. Amanda Claire Galitza, with distinction. Emily Garnica, with distinction. Menal Gedai, with distinction. Olivia Gillespie, with distinction. Mary Jasmine Jimena, with distinction. Maricielo Gonzalez Altamirano, with distinction. Samantha Gormos. Karishma Govinda. Satnam Grewal. Iman Hirji, with distinction. Hai Yi Huang, with distinction. Amira Ismaili. Antoinette Javier. Faith Javier. Michaela Jones. Kadisha Julian. Hanan Kani, with distinction. Julia Kapuczynski. Khadija Khalil, with distinction. Midhat Khan, with distinction. Na Yeon Kim. Yi-Rim Kim, with distinction. Nikki Koretsos, with distinction. Maliha Ladha, with distinction. Jessica Marie Lapuz, with distinction. Eun-Young Lee, with distinction. Xing-Ki Lang. Kelsey Lipinski, with distinction. Si Ming Lo, with distinction. Ruby Luong. Jessica Ma. Rachel McDougall Fawcett, with distinction. Mackenzie Macklin, with distinction. Emily Macri, with distinction. Kira Mandel, with distinction. Sabrina Matthews. Shauna May, with distinction. Kaylee McDonald. Brenda Mehta, with distinction. Chantel Jem Mendoza. Kelsey Middleton, with distinction. Rahila Mirza. Robin Miss Campbell, with distinction. Macy Molinaro, with distinction. Erica Montebello, with distinction. Jamie Morel. Shireen Mukbel. Donna Nguyen. Van Hamilton Nguyen, with distinction. Zora Nizam. Lourdes Ann Olpindo. Amanda Outtar. Felicia Pallone, with distinction. Ariana Maria Papanastasiou. Akila Patel. Brooklyn Peters, with distinction. Helen Pham. Pranavi Pirapakaran. Sydney Punsalan. Danica Kizon, with distinction. Uzma Rajab. Cynthia Ritalik, with distinction. Jesse Sadak, with distinction. Sanabil Sajid, with distinction. Gliza Salinas. Judy Sengsavan, with distinction. Nabil Shah, with distinction. Joshua Santhia Pillay, with distinction. Shreya Shivkumar. Mathumita Sivaloganathan. Tapika Sivanundam. Janice Smith. Lindsay Smith. Lu Yao Song. Chiara Spinello, with distinction. Javeria Saida. Dana Thorburn. Jelena Trapsey, with distinction. Joseph Trin, with distinction. Ivan Trinier. Juveria Umar. Marilyn Ventura, with distinction. Annalisa Vincente, with distinction. Crisel Joy Villanueva, with distinction. Sarah Weaver, with distinction. Tiffany West. Ayanda Williams. Kelly Wilson, with distinction. Yun-Chi Z, with distinction. Muhan Zhu, with distinction. Sophie Yu, with distinction. Ziting Zhang. Bachelor of Health Sciences, Midwifery. Bruna Almeida Coculas, with distinction. Leah Ambrose with distinction. Shayla Bodak with distinction. Marcella Boyle with distinction. Carly Ng with distinction. Heather Jones with distinction. Rebecca Kiro with distinction. Stacy Lewis with distinction. Maha Mariam with distinction. Sonia Michael with distinction. Elizabeth Mockery with distinction. Sojourner San Vicente with distinction. Lindsay Tattersall and Baby Sogi with distinction. Maggie Thompson Kurz with distinction. Marissa Toombs with distinction. Victoria White with distinction. Bachelor of Applied Science, Nutrition and Food. Mark Abdel Malek. Tuskeen Afshar with distinction. Chantel Alejandro with distinction. Hajar Al-Hafid with distinction. Annie Lynn Arguelles with distinction. Beren Arikan with distinction. Alyssa Baldessara with distinction. Alyssa is also receiving a certificate in food security. Sophia Batista with distinction. Sophia is also receiving a certificate in food security. Alexandra Bro with distinction. Alexandra Daniel with distinction. Esther Dang. Avital Elijah with distinction. Jessica Filipcic with distinction. Jessica is also receiving a certificate in food security. Gurleen Gill with distinction. Dareen Hassan with distinction. Rahel Horvath. Jasmine Hussein. Jasmine is also receiving a certificate in food security. Lara Inani. Lara is also receiving a certificate in food security. Pia Patricia Keenan with distinction. Pia Patricia is also receiving a certificate in food security. Karen Kwan. Farah Labib with distinction. Marine Lam Cam Yue. Marine is also receiving a certificate in food security. Huang Yan Li. Huang Yan is also receiving a certificate in food security. Zhao Xin Li with distinction. Zhao Xin is also receiving a certificate in food security. Maya McKeever with distinction. Maya also receiving a certificate in food security. Marwa Mohammed. Olga Namad. Isha Nayak with distinction. Daniela Nestico with distinction. Ki An Nguyen with distinction. Johanna Ogba Michael with distinction. Johanna is also receiving a certificate in food security. Hiral Patel with distinction. Megha Patel with distinction. Megha is also receiving a certificate in food security. Jillian Plattner. Jillian is also receiving a certificate in food security. Nathaniel Rodney. Melissa Scalzo with distinction. Melissa is also receiving a certificate in food security. Ariana Silvera. Ariana is also receiving a certificate in proficiency in French. Kathleen Tang with distinction. Tracy Tang with distinction. Juliana Tantello. Eva Tashiva. Min Trin. Ellen C. with distinction. Sukran Olger with distinction. Nadina Velasquez with distinction. Eric Voss with distinction. Jinghan Yanni Wang. Si-Yu Wang with distinction. Sarah Wilding with distinction. Sarah is also receiving a certificate in food security. Lauren Wong. Lauren is also receiving a certificate in food security. Ying Tong Yang. Isabella Yoshiura Rodriguez with distinction. Isabella is also receiving a certificate in food security. Jihan Ahmed. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present candidates for the graduate degrees in the Faculty of Community Services. Master of Arts, Early Childhood Studies. Afrina Hashim. Cheyenne Mello. Master of Health Science, Nutrition Communication. Nicole Addison. Georgia Alton. Madison Beal. Poonam Dattani. Alana Freitag. Kylie Gonsalves. Rebecca Harris. Jolene Casper. Alicia Lang. Sarah Martel. Annika McDowell. Annie Mirzayan. Maggie Mook. Renee Willett. Elizabeth Soden. Layla Story. Madam Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of today's graduates.
Hello, Toronto Met grads. I'm Jen McMillan, Vice Provost students, and I'm so excited to share this moment with you. After years of hard work and great memories, you finally made it to the finish line. Congratulations on this huge accomplishment. I know you have a lot of family and friends in your corners too. people who supported you when you needed it most, and who cheered you on at every milestone. Whether they are near or far, they are celebrating you today, and no doubt incredibly proud of your achievements. I hope you feel that your degree not only represents what you learned in the classroom, but how you made the most of your time here. You worked hard, tackling assignments, studying for exams, and balancing jobs, but also played hard, joining clubs, making athletics history, and becoming student leaders. While some of you might have grown up close by, many of you spent hours on a plane to get here, and that's the beauty of this place. We're a community made up of people from all around the world who found a second home at TMU. So take all of your experiences, your successes and learnings, and dive into every opportunity that lies ahead. Grow the network of friends you've built here and help one another thrive in new spaces around the world. I hope you keep getting involved, keep speaking up, and keep living out loud, because this world needs you, just as you are. Do you hear me? It needs you, and I'm so happy we could help you on your way. Congratulations again.
When I moved here to go to university, I was, this kid in this big, intimidating city, and this place just felt like home to me.
And I knew immediately, having just come from Jamaica, that that was the place for me.
I spent 3 years here. These are still the best 3 years of my life.
One of the fondest memories that I had was being here at 1, 2 in the morning. You're leaving at around 3 a.m., but it didn't matter because you were doing what you loved.
My fondest memory at the university was the day I graduated. Dr. G. Raymond Chang, our previous chancellor, was handing it off to me. I remember when I got up to that stage, I whispered over to him, "I'm Jamaican as well. I'm so proud to have you as my chancellor," and we giggled.
Interaction with meeting students from all over the world, interaction with my instructors of the day.
My fondest memory was getting a husband.
The warmth, the camaraderie, the buildings were so friendly.
During my 8 years as president of the university, I officiated at well over 50 convocations. My fondest memory really was to see the students coming across the stage, to see their families excited with them, and to see so many of the students who are graduating be the first in their family to get a degree.
And it's all true. Yes, thank you. It's not fluff.
The Governor General's Silver Medal is awarded to 3 graduating graduate students with the highest cumulative grade point averages. Tiffany Colasso, a graduate from Early Childhood Studies, is today's recipient. Over the course of, go ahead, please. Yes. Over the course of her academic journey, Tiffany has achieved incredible academic results. Today, she crosses the stage with one of the highest CGPAs of the entire graduating student body, a 4.33. Congratulations, Tiffany. Would Tiffany and President Lashemi please come forward for the presentation of the award. And now please welcome Provost and Vice President Academic Jennifer Simpson.
Good afternoon. Again, my name is Jennifer Simpson. I'm the Provost and Vice President Academic at Toronto Metropolitan University, and it's great to be here with all of you. This is also my first graduation celebration as I got here about a year ago. You all have arrived at this day at this celebration and at this accomplishment. Once again, congratulations to each of you. I'll take just a moment as well today to recognize the pleasures of honoring the graduates on National Indigenous Peoples Day, and a thank you to both our elder Joanne Dallaire and our new alumni, Dr. Cook, for their words reminding us of the importance of relationships, both with ourselves, our families and communities, and the land. So thanks again. I think all of you came into this place embedded in relationships, and you'll leave embedded in relationships. So it's a good idea to reflect on today. As we bring today's convocation ceremony to a close, it offers us a moment to think about the sacrifices and successes that have led to this day. We can take a minute to consider the challenges that you have overcome. Endless study sessions and all-nighters dedicated to finishing projects and getting through tough exams. Balancing extracurricular activities with a demanding academic schedule. And finally, on top of all of this, as if those things weren't enough, you faced a global pandemic that pushed and challenged you in unimaginable ways. And consider the incredible things that you've gained along the way. Cherished memories at varsity games and campus events to reminisce about with lifelong friends. And hopefully an appetite for lifelong learning to fuel your growth in the years ahead. In the process of earning your degrees, every day you showed up, you persevered, you asked tough questions, you challenged the status quo, and you triumphed. This is a day of well-deserved celebration for you and your families and friends. In many ways, each of you are standing at the beginning of your own next chapter. We expect that you'll have moments of excitement ahead and also possibly of frustration and sometimes self-doubt. I can remember one of those own moments for myself of self-doubt. It was about a year after I graduated. I had done an internship and I had to decide what was going to happen next. And I'd left it a little bit to the last minute, so I had to decide in a hurry. And at that moment, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I decided to reach out to a professor. And I hadn't been in touch with this person for a long time, so I was worried. Would I hear from him? Would he help me out? And first of all, he was so glad to hear from me. And then the words he said that I remember almost 35 years later, he said, "When you can, Jennifer, I hope you follow your heart." That's what we want to leave with you, that we'll be glad to see you when you reach out and bring us your successes and sometimes your moments of self-doubt. We're here. And another idea we want to leave you with is that you can follow your heart. We hope you hold on to your own commitments and passions. We also hope that you continue to ask questions, to keep learning, and to stay open. I'll also offer a special thank you to all of the family members and friends that are here with us today and maybe in other places who have helped all the graduates along your way. The support of family and friends has been incredibly important to each one of our graduates, and you have contributed to their success in incalculable ways. So let's thank all of those family and friends. Again, to our graduates today, good luck and congratulations. We also hope you remember that by completing your journey here, you will always be part of the Toronto Metropolitan University family, an ever-growing group of passionate people who are doing remarkable work in every corner of the world. Good luck with all of your future endeavors. We look forward to what each of you will contribute to our shared future. Thank you.
I would like to thank all the staff, volunteers, and faculty here today who helped make this ceremony a wonderful experience for all. Thank you. Graduates and guests, once again, congratulations from everyone at the university. I hope you continue to enjoy this very special day. But first, if you can, please rise and join Catherine Rowan from the Office of the Dean and the Faculty of Arts in the singing of our national anthem. Following the anthem, please remain standing until all of our graduates have left the area. Thank you for celebrating with us today.